Oh, Breaker 19, this here's the Gear Jam and Deer. Whitetail, it's got your front door, come on. Back with some more American Truck Simulator, checking out the final chapter of Truck Driving Proficiency in the Driving Academy. Starting with Scatterbrain, which immediately... Wow. The bonus condition has 11 direction changes. What am I going to be doing here? Follow the waypoints and mind their orientation. So I noticed there's one right behind me that's very inconveniently facing the incorrect direction. Some of them may be impossible to reach with the trailer connected. I'm not sure I fully understand how this works. So this is the one that... Okay, the truck needs to be backwards for that. So can I just drop the trailer anywhere? Oh. Okay, I see. Alright, well, obviously, having dropped the trailer there... Yeah, I need to be facing the way for this. Okay, so I can just drop the trailer anywhere. That is abnormal for the driving academy. That's why I was not sure of that. So I guess, first of all, let me just drop the trailer right here. Ah. Okay. I'm going to change my plan immediately. So, I think what I'm going to want to do... I can't get to you where you can see my mouse. I'm going to back the trailer up there to the left. Right? So then I can pull forward, back over there, get that, come over here and get that one with just the tractor, and then hook back to the trailer and go in there. If that made sense. And ideally, I'm going to try to get this trailer parked in here with no pull-ups, but I don't know that that's going to happen. Because this is incredibly tight. Okay, hold on. I need to do some experimenting. Let me just make sure that this will actually fit like this, first of all. Okay, not like that. Because I may not actually be able to back the trailer in like this. I might not have enough space. Okay, yeah, that's not possible. So instead, let me fix myself here. Okay, so if I turn into here, which is physically possible, I'd have enough space to drop the trailer and then pull forward ahead of it. And then this angle isn't going to be good for this, but I can go that way to get the trailer turned around so that I can go back over there. Okay. So same plan, except that I've got to go into that spot to the left going forward. I'm going to kind of set the trailer up for my later reverse. Might have stopped myself a little bit too close to the wall here. Yeah, I don't think I did this in the optimal manner. Alright, hold on. Let me start again. I want to, obviously, trying to minimize direction changes. So I want to park the trailer where it's sort of aimed toward that area for when I need to back it up. But I also need to make sure I can actually get around it. So I might actually drop it here. This is a very cool one, because basically your trailer becomes a moving obstacle that you get to choose where it blocks you from. Which way do I need to be facing for this one? Good. That's the way I wanted to need to be facing. Ooh, and in fact now I can go around this side of the trailer. I may have accidentally put that trailer in pretty much the perfect spot. Except... yeah. In the perfect spot for everything except for doing this maneuver now. Damn. At this point, I'm not even necessarily that worried about stars. I'm just trying to do it. This one is an interesting challenge. Dang, one too many direction changes. So I can definitely see how it is doable to get that with 3 stars, but it is not going to be easy. That is insane. Next. Honestly, I hope that all the scenarios in this chapter are that difficult. And we're doing blindside backing, so this one is definitely going to be. Okay, for my style of backing, I'm probably going to be best doing the far right one, because it's the widest. So the far right one's the widest, the middle one is the longest. You know, you have the most pull-up space in front of you. What is the benefit of the far left one? Huh. On second thought, the middle one might actually be the best one to go for. Of course, this is not how I would set up for really any of these, except maybe the far end one. That's what the benefit of that one is. That one's the easiest to set up for. Cheeky. Alright, so the one that I'm going for is between those 2 Kenworths at the end, I believe. Those 2 Kenworths that I can barely see in my mirror. I'm, like, not looking horrible, but I am going to run out of space. I'm going to hit those cones, and I think I'm also on track to hit the blue Kenworth. It would be really nice. This is when it would be really good to be able to actually get out of the truck. Because I really can't angle the camera in a way that shows me what I need to be able to see. See, I need to be able to swing out right now, but I don't have the space over there. I know that I don't. I'm basically just doing this entirely by feel at this point. Put this window down too. Need to put this window down too. There we go. So at this point, what's going to happen is I'm going to get the trailer into the space, but I'm going to have nowhere to maneuver my truck. Which is going to be where I am now. So now the trailer is basically perfectly lined up with the space, but I have nowhere that I can go with my truck, so I've got to walk it. Oh, and I'm running out of air pressure. Trying to blindside walk is not going to be an easy task. I'd honestly love to see someone put a trailer in this space without walking, because like, that's insane. And also, here's another place where you'd have a benefit in real life. There have actually been times in real life, there's also a benefit of having an automatic truck, where I would be backing into a space like this, and I'd actually be leaning across the cab so that I could be looking out the passenger window at where the back of the trailer is, while stretching my foot all the way across to be able to be tapping either, you know, feathering the brake pedal or feathering the accelerator based on how the space was. What gear am I in? This is what I was saying about the space being wide. I like wide spaces. Wide spaces work well for me. Honestly, I am impressed with myself. Like, obviously, I didn't get any of the stars, but still, getting into that spot, more or less first try without hitting anything, that was still pretty impressive. Depending on how long this video ends up being, I might come back to this scenario and try to get into one of the other spaces and see if I can do it with at least one of the other stars. Alright, so this is just another obstacle course, basically. As far as I can tell. But it's all dirt? Ooh. Oh, this looks very fun. I remember So one of the scenarios on the first book, I don't know if you still can, but for a while you were able to escape. In fact, it might have even been one of the scenarios that was removed. But there wasn't a failure condition for leaving the course. So you were able to go and just explore around the whole map. And I remembered seeing this place and wondering what exactly it was. So you gotta go do the course and then come back. Or no, wait, this is on the other side. Never mind. Alright, let's just see how it goes. This is... I'm not sure I lined myself up quite right for this. I made it through anyway. Oh, there's a cone in the middle of the road! Definitely did not line myself up right for that. Can I go over the cone? Heh! Yeah, the trailer totally can go over the cone. That's interesting. Okay, hold on. What am I looking at right now? What? Oh, dang it. Alright. Well, I need to... Okay, that was a good point. Did you notice that I failed on camera right at the end there? That was because I hadn't set my parking brake, and while I was navigating the menu, I let off the foot brake. So, if you're doing this yourself, and you're trying to keep that first-person only star, make sure you always set your parking brake before you get out of the truck. You know, when I went through orientation to come back to work for Swift, I had to go at one of their training simulators that you can do if you're a new driver. It was more of a just, hey, let's see what you can do sort of thing. You know, it wasn't like I wasn't required to. It was part of orientation. They took us in to show us the simulators, and they were like, anyone want to try it? And I was like, yes, I want to try it. And the actual simulator rig that they have is very cool. You know, it has the motion seat, and the trucks are modeled after Freightliner Cascadias, and it even has a Freightliner steering wheel and everything. So that's all really cool, and it has a seat belt. Like, it has an actual physical seat belt you put on. That's all neat, but then the actual software sucks. There's absolutely zero depth perception. Everything basically looks like proper 2D. Like, 18 Wheels of Steel Across America had more depth than the software that the simulator uses. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, how cool would it be to have all that rigging with the actual seat and the actual, the motion seat and the steering wheel and everything, but using it with ATS Academy. That would be so cool. And it would so much more prepare new drivers for going out and driving real trucks than the simulator that they actually have. I don't know what way I want to go around these cones. Dang it. Oh, the trailer did clear. I was focusing on so much on what the trailer was doing, I wasn't watching what my truck was. I will... shit, I started turning too late. I will say, most experienced players and IRL truck drivers can probably go ahead and skip the first Driving Academy booklet. It doesn't offer much for experienced drivers. I found some of the courses to be a little bit of fun, but beyond that, most of them were pretty easy if you know what you're doing. This one, I absolutely recommend anyone to play, regardless of experience level. Like, this will genuinely make you better at knowing where the corners of your truck are and everything like that. And I would also say that objectively the best truck to do it in, at least for ATS, is probably the Mack Anthem. For the same reason I mentioned in one of the other videos. That being able to not have the blind spots of a long nose, but also being able to see where the end of your hood is because of the hood ornament. Is just very handy. Obviously this truck is custom and has a custom hood ornament. I think I hung my trailer out too far to the right there. Should still, yeah, still made it. Okay. I think that corner probably wasn't quite as tight as I was acting like it was. As much as I dislike how hood mirrors look stylistically, it's so annoying how actually useful they are. And I'm gonna hit that cone. Damn it! Well, for the sake of this video, I guess I'm losing my 3rd star. Obviously, if I was playing this casually, I would have just restarted right then and there. Damn. There we go. Oh, it's not one of my better parking lineups, but take advantage of the space you have. I had an empty space. Oh! Whoops! I totally blanked on that. Went and did it the more difficult way. Okay, hold on. Fair enough, it's the same thing I was saying earlier. You know, this is not a parking maneuver that you do super often. You know, which means a lot of people probably don't have a lot of experience with it. Having to swing wide to get lined up straight in a single parking space like this. And this is actually really tight for doing this in. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get this first try. Dang. I would have gotten the time star at the very least if I had realized which way I needed to face for that. That's annoying. Blindside into a cluttered lot. Oh, goody. My favorite.